Hello, friends. Susan Axelrod here, the confidence coach, coming to you just after running with the dogs. I'm with two dogs today. It's windy outside, and I was just throwing a ball and playing with them a little bit. I realized it's time for my live at 5, and I decided to just show up as I am and have fun in my business, which you may recognize as the tagline for one of my podcasts with Cornelia Stephanie, which is called Women Who Radiate Wealth. Today, I want to talk to you about something very important I want to invite you to consider. Which works better for you, creating or allowing? Now, for me, both have worked very well for me in my life. For many, many years, I was a creator. I created things, I planned for them, I meticulously set up steps, those are my two dogs, meticulously took steps and did what it took in a linear fashion to manifest and create. That worked well for me in many ways for much of my life and much of my work and my business. In more recent years, I would say also in part due to my maturity, I began to open up and receive and allow. So I would actually create an affirmation that is, I open and allow. I open and allow. I open and allow. And this has worked for me in more recent years to be in a little bit of a less chaosy place and to have less stress and be in less overwhelm. So even in some personal transition, sometimes facing personal difficulty, sometimes dealing with stuff in my own business that I created, be careful what you wish for. When you work hard to create something, then you work a lot. In all of these ways, I stopped pushing and opened up and allowed that which is intended to be. And so this week, as I have been speaking with you about the solar eclipse coming this weekend, and the idea yesterday, I talked about focus versus procrastination. I decided to have this conversation with you today about creating versus allowing. Not to judge either way, just to open up to understand that these are two different things and two different ways of being. So I am saying this to you, whenever you're hearing this or watching this, you are intended to receive this idea. And that is, do you know which works better for you, to create things or to allow things? Sometimes for me in my life, one way has worked better than others. Then sometimes the other way has worked better. The question is, if you're in conscious awareness enough to see and figure out and work through what is the better way for you to do something. Recently, I'm working with a very extremely high-level client, someone who's at the top of the career, on point, in purpose, total impact, amazing output. And I've been talking about doing things the easy way now, that instead of continuing to push, create, maybe it's time for legacy creation to come forth, which is more of a distribution phase. And that felt good to that person. That person was like, oh, you mean I don't have to keep creating? I said, no, you could just allow all of what's in you to come forth through you. And that felt so much better than to have to continue to create, plan, map, make things happen. So either way, what matters is that you yourself are hearing this message and that you come to conscious awareness for yourself about what really works for you. Now, how do we know what really works for ourselves? Well, sometimes it's trial and error. Sometimes it's like doing the best I can and just being, trying different ways. Sometimes we can feel it through the body. recently, the other day, this was very like never for me. I never experienced this. I had a headache overnight and I woke up with a headache. And I was very tuned into this in my embodiment. And I knew that I had something big on my mind. It was actually a work project that I had been putting off. That's why I talked about procrastination yesterday. But in the end, I think it was not as much the putting off as it was the, like coming through me, because now I'm in really good flow on that thing. And I knew that I had been back braining it, and I think it just had to come out. So your job is to know yourself. It's to know what works for you and not do what anybody else tells you to because that works for them or they think you should or anything else. Your job is to know yourself and know what works for you. When do you feel most confident, most on point, most in your purpose space? When you're creating or allowing? Which works better for you? Sometimes the hard way is good. Sometimes we create, with our hands, we sculpt and mold and push and pull and create. And sometimes we just open up and allow. Which works better for you? Which one of those things has you standing firmly in the confidence zone for yourself? You give it some thought, and that's how we want to go forth after the new beginning of the weekend. That's how we want to go forth in a way that is comfortable for us, productive for us, efficient for us, effective, smooth, and easy. That's what I'm going for. All right, friends, that's it for today. Tomorrow, I think I have a guest in the confidence zone, and I'll look forward to sharing that with you then. Take care. Bye-bye.